We are extremely close to the Red Dead Online Summer update. Rockstar have been teasing a new update saying it's coming early summer. The QA Beta 2 is being heavily updated, with it being multiple times per day. And when we take into consideration that Rockstar want to push one Red Dead Online and one GTA Online update, it's most likely Red Dead will come first, and 1 month later, that's when GTA will get its update. So with all of this talk about the next summer update coming to Red Dead, many players are asking how much is everything going to cost? Before I do get into the video, if you do want to see any more content from me, then I highly recommend that you head over to the second YouTube channel. Over there, we are streaming every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and when this Red Dead Online update does finally release, we will be going daily. So if you do want to be a part of that, there is a link to that in the description down below. Getting back into the video, this is arguably the most important question. How much will the update cost? We talked about the upcoming release date, which is pretty important, but it's no good knowing the release date when you can't afford to buy into the new content. You will need money, you will need gold, and the more money and gold you have, the better the experience will be because you can obviously afford more. So let's actually start to break everything down. The first thing to highlight is this summer update is not going to be free, and a lot of players are saying that it is going to be free because of what Rockstar pushed out recently within a newswire. They gave us a bit more information about it coming early summer, they told us about what's going to be included, and then they also said in some places where certain content will be free. And this is the paragraph that we're talking about. It says this: as part of the early summer update coming to Red Dead Online, all kinds of new unlawful ventures will emerge for those willing to comport themselves in a certain or morally flexible manner. These will include the ability to rob homesteads across the 5 states within free roam, as well as open up new avenues for personal enrichment. And like any good opportunity, this one is devoid of upfront expenditures. Plus, look for an all-new membership rewards club as part of the forthcoming update. More details coming soon. The part where it says, and like any good opportunity, this one is devoid of upfront expenditures, has led many players to believe that this whole update is going to be free. This is not the case. It's also worth noting that this isn't the first time that we've had content that is devoid of upfront expenditures. For example, Gus McMillan is free without you actually having to buy into the Naturalist. You can visit the Trapper without buying into the Naturalist for the 25 gold bars that it costs. It's not available straight away when you first start Red Dead Online, but as soon as you go over to Harriet and go through that cinematic at the beginning, you don't need to pay, but as soon as you leave that cinematic, Gus's Trapper shop is now available to you. It's also very similar with legendary animals, except you don't even need to go through the Naturalist cinematic. As soon as you start Red Dead Online, you do have a chance of legendary animals spawning within free roam. You just need to be in the right place at the right time and get extremely lucky. Collecting is also another part of the game which you don't have to buy into the collector for you to be able to collect different types of collector sets. You'll be able to start Red Dead Online, and as soon as you finish the tutorial, you can actually use the genre collector map to find the flowers, antique alcohol bottles, tarot cards, family heirlooms, and eggs all over the world of Red Dead Online, which you can pick up and store within your satchel. But the true benefit for everything that is free here comes when you do actually buy into the roles. So despite being able to get this content for free, you can't actually have the full experience without buying into him, because this content is limited. And buying into the full role, you unlock all the content, which will also provide you with further benefits. So even though there is a chance for you to spawn in legendary animals without you buying into the Naturalist, it's actually a very low chance of spawning, because the second you buy into the Naturalist, this slowly starts to increase. As you progress through this role every 5 ranks, it increases the chances of legendary animals spawning in within free roam. You also unlock the option for you to go through legendary animal missions from Harriet's tent. There are several legendary animals that can only be obtained if you go through these missions. So if you was a player that did like the legendary animal garments and you wanted to throw every single legendary animal that you got and put that over to Gus McMillan, you can do it to a certain point. But if you do want every single legendary animal garment, you will need to buy into the Naturalist. And this is where you'll get the further benefits, unlock the additional content, and you can actually progress through everything. So the free content that is added is limited. It's also the exact same with the collector set. Yes, you can find the flowers, antique alcohol bottles, tarot cards, family heirlooms, and eggs without buying into the collector, but you cannot sell them until you actually put those 15 gold bars up to buy into the collector role. So realistically, all the collectibles that you manage to get before buying into that is somewhat worthless up until that point. It's not until you actually buy into the collector that's when you can actually sell everything and actually get your money's worth. It'll also unlock other collector sets as you progress through the role, and this is where you'll get even more money and even more XP. So we have already had content that's added to the game which is somewhat free, and you don't need to buy into the role, but by buying into the content that is part of this update, it will give you better access to the rest of the content and provide you with other benefits for what you're trying to do for free. So the Red Dead Summer update isn't going to be completely free. There'll be a way in which Rockstar will monetize it, and so far it could be done in one of three ways. The first way, and the most likely way, is we're going to have a similar situation to what we've had in previous updates. So just like the Naturalist, where you can get legendary animals and Gus Macmillan for free without actually having to buy into the Naturalist, we're most likely going to have a similar situation this time round, where we're able to get these free roam robberies where we're able to rob different types of homesteads across the 5 states, as well as maybe some additional content, and this will be completely free. It will either be available from the second this update is pushed to the game, or you may have to go over to Guido Martelli to have a cinematic, and instead of actually buying and paying that gold up front, you could actually just quit and go through all of these different types of robberies within free roam. This is a model that Rockstar have used plenty of times before with the previous updates. Another option is that you'll need to buy into previous content before buying into this next Outlaw content. This would technically make the whole summer update free, but you would need to buy into previous content that is already part of the game. Rockstar again have already explored this option many times before. It first was incorporated with the Moonshine role, because with the Moonshine role, even though it had an upfront cost, you would also need to go into the trader role before. Rockstar then built on this by going all the way to the Bounty Hunter enhancement. The prestigious Bounty Hunter license costs 25 gold bars, but before you buy into that prestigious license, you need to buy into the normal Bounty Hunter license. And this is where things start to stack up. For this summer update, they could have a very similar model where you'll need to buy into one of the previous roles and somewhat progress through it for you to have access to this new content. It would mean for a lot of you hardcore players out there, you already have every single role and you've already got it all to max rank, so you wouldn't need any gold for you to buy into this content. But for the majority of the fan base that haven't got every single role, they would have to buy into these roles. And this is how Rockstar can monetize that content, with this update still technically being free. The other option is that we can have a higher price for cosmetics or even side content. If I'm wrong about the 2 previous points, which there is a chance, then Rockstar is still going to make money out of this update by doubling down on the side content and the cosmetics that are part of the game. The cosmetics in this situation will be new types of weapon variants, wagon liveries, clothing, and the list can just carry on going on. Any type of thing that you can change, whether it be for your horse, for your character, for weapons, for vehicles, or maybe some of the previous roles that are already part of the game. Rockstar can monetize it by bringing in a much higher price for gold bars for you to buy that content. And when talking about this, some players might actually prefer this because it means they get access to whatever new content is added and they can enjoy what they want to enjoy. But if they do want to buy into different types of cosmetics, then that's when they can buy into it. But the cosmetics don't actually change anything feature wise, it's just about how you look within the game. And many games out there have had a very successful business model by just letting players pay for the cosmetic items rather than the new features, the new mechanics, and new content itself. And yet again, Rockstar have already touched on this and things have already started to be very expensive in this area. When we look back at the previous update, there was a Lamat revolver variant and it was 21 gold bars just to have one. If you were dual wielding, you'll have to buy this twice, which brings this up to 42 gold bars. But also bear in mind that you would need to buy 25 gold bars for the prestigious Bounty Hunter license, and for you to get the prestigious Bounty Hunter license, you need to buy the original Bounty Hunter license, which was 15 gold bars. So for this content, if you wanted both of these weapon variants, you would need to pay a total of 82 gold bars. And if Rockstar don't pick one of the other previous 2 options to monetize this update, then this is what we're going to be left with. Because the truth is, Rockstar need to make money. They are a AAA game company with staff to pay and investors backing it. They need to pay off their staff so that they can carry on pushing updates for the future, and they'll also want to pay off investors so investors can then put even more money into the game company for future games. It's also worth taking a time to mention that the previous update did have the biggest nerf that we've ever had within Red Dead Online. It was over a 70% drop in the amount of gold that you was able to make just from daily challenges. It was half the gold payouts for every daily challenge you finished, and on top of that, once you reached your 28-day streak, it was no longer you can carry on going through this at the maximum payout. You would actually be reset back to 1 day and you'll have to go through the streak all over again. This was not a last minute decision for the previous update. This is a business decision that's there to last years. And we're now coming up to the update which can potentially capitalize on this in Rockstar's eyes. Well, he put things at a much higher price despite us getting a lot less gold. If you're unable to afford things, this will then convert you to be one of those players that buys gold so that you can buy into the content. So with all of this said and the whole breakdown of why nothing is going to be free and Rockstar are going to charge you in one way or another, I always recommend having around 100 gold. This is enough gold for you to buy into new content whatever is required. Normally we have rolls anywhere between 15 to 25 gold bars each. Now with what's being advertised, it doesn't really sound like we're getting a roll, but there will be a way for Rockstar to monetize it in the ways that we talked about previous to this. We also know that there is going to be an Outlaw Pass 6. We don't know what's going to be included, how many ranks, but we do know that this is going to cost gold. This could be anywhere between 35 all the way up to 45 gold bars just to enter. But the good thing about this is that in the first week, you normally get this gold back plus a bit more. In the past couple of Outlaw Passes, if you progress through the whole thing, you don't actually get the gold back through the rewards. But Rockstar have had a bonus for if you bought it within the first week, as you would get an extra 10 gold bars on top. And once you take into consideration all the gold rewards that you have for ranking up, plus the treasure map, normally you end up being 1 to 2 gold bars in profit. But you do need to have enough gold up front for you to buy this within the first week. And then finally, you do have some gold left over just to buy into a few cosmetic items if you really want to. It's not enough gold for you to buy into absolutely everything, but it's enough to keep you happy to buy the items that you really want. So this is why I always recommend having 100 gold bars in your account. If you don't have 100 gold bars, then there are videos here on this channel which you can use, and it does show you the best way to make gold within Red Dead Online. So just follow that, use that for a couple days or couple weeks, and you should have more than enough gold to keep you sorted for this next summer update. But anyway guys, this is everything you should expect with this summer update. These are the different ways in which Rockstar can monetize this upcoming content, despite them somewhat saying some of this content is going to be free, and also how much you will need for you to enter into everything, for you to have more than enough for you to enjoy the content that Rockstar have delivered. If you do have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. If you do want to talk more in depth about this, there is also the second YouTube channel. Link to that could be found in the description. But anyway guys, I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did enjoy, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. But for now, I'm going to see ya.